Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the 808 podcast where we take business owners, CEOs, and other influencers for our questions, 8 minutes and 8 seconds, because 808 looks like Bob. And here we go. Question number one, a few sentences, tell us who you are and what do you do?
Sure. Thanks, Bob. My name is Holly Beitel, and I'm the owner of Profit Maximization Coaching. Essentially, I help small businesses achieve a 5 to 6 figure profit increase without spending an extra dollar on marketing or advertising, and I guarantee my results. I do this using a 5-part profit formula that's easy to execute and includes top-rated marketing strategies and step-by-step tactics. The result for business owners that they enjoy an increasingly lucrative income from their business and find margin that they've been looking for.
Perfect, Holly. Question number two, what advice would you like to share? Go.
Sure. The advice I would share is one, lead with the intention to serve. So people are increasingly resistant to being sold to. And if you want to truly connect with your ideal customers, you need to reach out to them with the primary objective of serving them. Secondly, would be to develop a clearly defined market dominating position. And a market dominating position is anything that separates you from your competitors. We call it defining your superpower.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know your ideal customers' pain points and how you resolve those in a way that's superior to all of your competitors. So your market dominating position should state one, who you serve, two, what emotional benefit that you provide them that they don't currently have but are looking for. Three, your superpower that you use to do that. And then four, the pain they'll avoid while getting that result or what the result will look like when they're finished. For instance, my market dominating position is I can help any small business achieve a 5 to 6 figure profit increase without spending an extra dollar on marketing or advertising. The third thing would be to clearly define your ideal customer's buying journey. Most people don't realize that less than 3% of your prospective buyers are what we call now buyers. The rest are in some level of information gathering. And so you need to have clearly defined systems and processes, scripts, etc., that move your customer along all the different stages to that journey until they do become what's called a now buyer. And then finally, you need to have what's called a compelling offer that your prospect or client can't refuse. So most websites have a call to action that will say something like, call now for a consultation. That's only going to capture your 1 to 3% of now buyers.
Mm-hmm.
An ideal compelling offer might be to offer a guide on your website. For instance, top 10 questions to ask before you hire someone in my industry. They simply supply their name and their email address, and then you have their contact information to be able to continue to nurture them along the buyer's journey. And then 5, once you have all of that in place, it simply becomes rinse and repeat.
Perfect. Love that there. So when you're talking about what was the second step again? Can you say that one more time for me?
The second step would be to develop a clearly defined market dominating position.
Perfect. So what are some things so that someone can start doing now to start developing that market dominating position?
So first and foremost, I would say clearly define who your ideal customer is. And then secondly, what your superpower is. So maybe you provide services faster or more convenient or in some manner that's different from your competition. Perhaps you are able to remove risk where competitors are not able to. Or finally, maybe there's something about the quality of your product that's higher, or maybe you're able to educate and train them as an expert, whereas others might not be able to.
Perfect. Let's get to question number 3. What other top CEOs, business owners, and influencers that are successful, like yourself, would you like to acknowledge as a leader? It should be a guest on my podcast.
Sure. I can give you 2. One is Jeff DeGarmo of J. DeGarmo. He's an entrepreneur and a franchise consultant. He basically serves people that are looking to into business ownership. And then he also works with those that currently own businesses and might like to add another business to their portfolio. And the other one is Asmara Cosme with AK1 Consulting. She's a guru for all things systems and processes.
Perfect. I'll look them up if we're done here. Number 4, final fun question. Holly, tell me about your first sale.
My first sale. So my very first coaching presentation was to a group of 4 different physician groups all together, all in the same room. Admittedly, a bit of an intimidating first audience. I figured if I could present to them, I could probably present to anyone. And fortunately, I was able to close 2 of them immediately, and I've worked with them ever since. And actually, healthcare providers have become some of my favorite clients.
Perfect. Love that there. So Holly, you've got 2 minutes and 32 seconds left. We can do some promo time. You can ask me a question. You can talk about the weather or the paintings behind you. Or since the best know wouldn't be concise and want to end early, we end early. Give it a go.
So Bob, I'll ask you a question.
I'll allow it.
Okay. What is maybe 1 or 2 of your most interesting guests that you've hosted on your podcast?
I think one of my personal favorites is Earl. I'm not going to try to do his last name, but he actually, a while ago, I was watching these people that were doing YouTube videos like years ago and just lost in contact with them. And he was on their channel. And I'm like, I remember those guys. I remember when they're doing this stuff there. He's like, yeah, they're buddies of mine. So it's just cool to be able to connect with them and go that way there. And plus he became a really great client with us as well.
Sure.
So that part there. So we got 1 minute, 40 seconds left. Anything else you'd like to add, like some promo time, or we can end early?
What would be included in like promo time?
Well, call to action. Like what someone's listening to you. They want to reach out to you. How do they do that?
Yep. I got a couple of things I could say.
Go for it.
Going back to my market dominating position, one of the things that I offer businesses for free is if they need help putting their market dominating position together or refining it, kind of honing it, I actually will do that for free. The other service I offer is we have what's called a profit acceleration assessment, where we can take businesses through a simple assessment and actually identify a roadmap for them for marketing and business growth. So both of those, you can reach me at Holly at profitmaximizationcoaching.com, and I'd be happy to help.
Perfect. You pulled it off. 4 questions, 8 minutes and 8 seconds because 808 looks like Bob. Your website, say it real quick.
My website is www.profitmaximizationcoaching.com.
It's in the description. It's magic. Holly, thank you so much for being on. Tip of the hat to you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
You're welcome. And everyone who's watching or listening, I'm legally required to tell you to make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, whatever the social media network tells you to do. I am Bob Clark. You all have a wonderful day now. Talk to you later. Bye.